Very soon, you're going to find out just how powerful Oba Femi really is and why many fans are already comparing him to Brock Lesnar. The reason for all this hype is simple. Oba Femi is scheduled to face WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes at the upcoming Saturday night main event. The match was arranged for one major reason: John Cena's retirement promise. Cena had vowed that before he retired, he would make sure new talent got a chance to work with top-level main roster superstars during big events like SNME. And as you might have noticed on SmackDown recently, that plan is already in motion. In the backstage segment from the last SmackDown episode, Cody Rhodes was seen with Nick Aldis, coming face-to-face with Oba Femi and Ricky Starks. Nick Aldis made it clear that whoever won between Oba Femi and Ricky Starks would get the opportunity to face Cody Rhodes at the upcoming SNME. And during NXT's Premium Live event, Oba Femi once again defeated Ricky Starks and reclaimed the NXT Championship. That means it's official. Oba Femi will be going one-on-one with Cody Rhodes at SNME. But now the question is, how is Brock Lesnar connected to Cody Rhodes versus Oba Femi? And why are people comparing Oba Femi to Brock in the first place? For a long time, many of you have been commenting and asking for a full video on Oba Femi because he has become one of the most dominant talents in NXT. So the real question is, can Oba Femi become a future star in WWE the same way Brock Lesnar did? In that comparison video, I also explained that we will only understand Oba Femi's real strength and wrestling ability once he steps onto the main roster. Because many NXT superstars who dominate in NXT end up struggling when they arrive on Raw or SmackDown. However, Oba Femi does not seem like one of those superstars who collapse under pressure. I recently watched several of his NXT matches, and one thing is absolutely clear. When it comes to height, weight, wrestling style, and raw strength, Oba Femi is miles ahead of many big names, including Bron Breakker and even Cody Rhodes. In one match, Oba Femi literally picked up Dijak and Josh Briggs, both guys standing around 67 to 68 and weighing between 280 and 300 pounds, and tossed them around with pure power. Watching him lift and throw two massive superstars like they were nothing proves that Oba Femi is, without a doubt, an incredibly strong superstar. But the real test will come when he faces Cody Rhodes on the main roster. Only then will fans truly see how WWE plans to book him. Everyone knows that Cody Rhodes is the current undisputed champion, so WWE is definitely going to make Cody win that match. But even if Cody wins, this fight is still extremely important for Oba Femi's future. Because watching how he performs in a big match against the company's top champion will tell us whether Oba Femi has the potential to dominate WWE someday the way Brock Lesnar once did. Many fans are already asking whether Oba Femi can become the next Brock Lesnar, a powerhouse who can shock the entire WWE universe with his strength, speed, and intensity. And honestly, a superstar like Oba Femi doesn't come around often. If WWE handles him correctly, he could easily become one of the most dangerous and exciting future stars in the entire company. But we'll all have to wait and see how WWE decides to portray him on the main roster. So what do you think? Can Oba Femi create the same kind of havoc in WWE that Brock Lesnar did? Can he become the next unstoppable force in the company? Make sure to tell us in the comments section. John Cena confirms the original name of his finisher was a shot at Brock Lesnar. For most of his career, John Cena has been teased for not having a huge arsenal of wrestling moves. Fans especially remember the period when crowds jokingly labeled his signature sequence as the 5 moves of doom. But the funny part is that the limited number of moves didn't hurt his career at all. Instead, those moves became instantly recognizable trademarks of Cena's legacy. Every punch, shoulder tackle, and slam connected directly to his identity as one of WWE's biggest stars. And among those moves, none is more iconic than his finishing move, the Attitude Adjustment, formerly known as the FU. The AA, or the FU as it was originally called, looks like a slightly more aggressive version of a fireman's carry slam. But back When Cena was still climbing the ladder and working on developing his gimmick, the meaning behind the name wasn't simply about the structure of the move. The F definitely didn't stand for fireman. Cena recently shared the real story during an appearance on The Ringer, and it turns out the name came from none other than Brock Lesnar, or more specifically, from Cena's desire to poke fun at him. Brock Lesnar's finishing move has always been the F5, a name inspired by the category of tornadoes strong enough to rip buildings from their foundations. Cena noticed the similarity between the setup of his own move and the F5. Both require lifting an opponent onto the shoulders, although the execution differs. Cena explained that early in his career, he had a habit of talking a lot of trash, trying to provoke reactions and make people notice him. He wasn't necessarily trying to make anyone look bad, but he definitely wanted to stand out, even if it meant irritating some of the biggest names in the locker room. That's when he came up with the idea. If Brock had the F5, why not name his own move the FU? It wasn't subtle. In fact, it was the exact opposite of subtle, and that was the point. He said, Brock Lesnar's move was the F5. I had a similar move where we both picked guys up. I didn't try to make Brock look bad, but I was abrasive with my trash talk and was like, you have the F5, I have the FU. That's where the name of the move happened. Whether or not Brock was annoyed has never been fully confirmed. Cena has admitted that back then he loved stirring the pot, and Brock was the perfect target because they were both young, competitive, and hungry for the top spot. Brock might not have appreciated someone namming their finisher after his in such a mocking way, especially someone he was directly competing with for star power. But regardless of how Brock felt, the name caught on. It fits Cena's edgy doctor of thugonomics persona, which thrived on sarcasm, attitude, and boundary-pushing humor. At that time, WWE was still in the tail end of the Attitude Era, when shocking content and edgy material were encouraged. The company had built a reputation around pushing limits. And Cena's character fit right in with that culture. His gimmick was bold, loud, and unapologetically rebellious. But as WWE evolved, the environment shifted dramatically. By the time Cena became the face of the company, WWE was transitioning into the PG era, which meant the tone of programming needed to be more family-friendly. And that change directly affected the fate of the FU. It simply wasn't acceptable anymore for commentators to shout FU during a match, especially when WWE was trying to appeal to younger audiences and secure partnerships with mainstream brands. The name no longer aligned with the direction the company was taking, and Cena's character was also evolving toward a more heroic, inspirational figure. So the FU had to go. The move needed a new identity, something that matched Cena's status as a role model for millions of kids. That's when the name Attitude Adjustment was introduced. Cena has talked about how strange and yet poetic the change felt. It no longer carried the rebellious punch of the original name, but it still held meaning. In some ways, it represented the shift in WWE and the shift in Cena's own character. He said that the name change ended up being almost symbolic. Instead of a message that flipped off his opponents, the new name embraced a more positive theme, the idea that anyone can change their mindset or behavior. He said, I kept using it, and then as we evolved into PG, I was told we can't use that anymore. Switching it to the Attitude Adjustment has been incredible because it's so weird that art imitates life. I'm leaning into the fact that you can adjust your attitude no matter what at any moment. That really changes the dynamic. It evolved because it had to. Despite the rebranding, the move remained strongly associated with Cena. Fans still understood its legacy even when the name changed. Whether he lifted someone onto his shoulders during a playful moment or in the middle of a brutal championship match, everyone knew exactly what was coming when he set up the Attitude Adjustment. It became one of the most reliable finishes in WWE history, used to defeat legends like Randy Orton, Edge, Batista, Triple H, and even Brock Lesnar himself. And now, with Cena's retirement match only days away, the move holds even more emotional weight. There's a sense that when Cena hits the AA in his final bout, it may be the last time he ever performs it inside a WWE ring. The opponent chosen for this historic match is Gunther, a dominant force who has carved out his own legacy through sheer brutality and technical mastery. Cena has faced giants, powerhouses, and legends, but Gunther represents a different kind of challenge, a competitor whose endurance and resilience make him extremely difficult to keep down. Cena has always been known for his comebacks, his refusal to quit, and his ability to pull off extraordinary victories against unbelievable odds. But Gunther isn't someone who will stay down after a single attitude adjustment, or even two. It may take every ounce of strength and resilience Cena has left to defeat the ring general. Fans know that Gunther is no ordinary opponent. He's a man capable of taking punishment and returning it tenfold. As Cena prepares for what may be the final chapter of his wrestling career, the evolution of his finishing move tells a story of its own, one of transformation, growth, and legacy. From its beginnings, as the edgy, rebellious FU born out of Cena's rivalry with Brock Lesnar, to its reimagined name that reflected a new era of WWE and a new phase of Cena's character, the move symbolizes different eras of his journey. And soon, fans will watch him deliver it once more in a match that is bound to be emotional and unforgettable. Whether he wins or loses against Gunther, the attitude adjustment, or the FU in the hearts of longtime fans, will forever be tied to John Cena's extraordinary legacy.